As you can see, I've started the main D9 bulldozer, D9R Armoured Bulldozer. So far so good. So far I've done sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and, because they were fairly easy to do, 7, 8 and 9 and 10, and then it's moving on to building the walls of the cab. So basically sections 1 to 3 really very easy. There are a few transfers, decals if you prefer, that need to go on, but I'm not going to put those on until I've painted it, because we paint over them. So these are the ones that I've marked in amber, in orange. It's also, there are 3 versions of this that you can build. I've chosen to build the version A, which is a US Army version. Apparently they used them in Iraq. The reason I've done that is I've built an M911 transporter and an M747 trailer for this to go on, so I've already got that, and this will look correct when I put it on there. So I'm building the version A. So these bits are marked for version C here, just red circled purely because, so that I don't confuse myself really. Went together really very easily, the whole 4 pieces put together. Then a couple of side pieces, radiator grills, ventilation grills on the side of the engine housing. Likewise on the top, a few grills and inspection hatches. Then got a radiator cover that goes on the front. It's not the actual radiator, the radiator cover that goes on the front. Basically really easy to put together. Then it goes on to putting the ripper, as it's called, on the back. You could use that for tearing up. In Civvy Street, I suppose you'd use it for tearing up rock faces and solid ground. In the military they seem to use it for ripping up roads so that nobody else can use them. Again, really very easy to put together, and it went together really well. So that's the hull that I put together. As I mentioned, it's a radiator cover, top cover on the engine. There'll be an air cleaner and an exhaust pipe coming out of there. One thing that I have noticed when I've been looking at videos of this is that in front of the exhaust pipe on the real version, the US version, there's an RSJ sits there and comes up to the height of the exhaust pipe, and I'm guessing that's to protect the exhaust pipe, and it has a couple of welded stanchions supports at the back here. That's not included in this kit, so I'll decide whether to make an RSJ to put there and see how it looks when I've finished. As I say, the sides of it really very easy. They go on together very very well, no problems with it, and fairly easy. The only thing I'd say is this bit at the back here where it joins together, it doesn't, there's quite a gap there, so either I've done something wrong or there's a natural gap there, and I want to fill it, as you can see, and sand it. It's never going to be seen because the cab sits on it, but it just annoyed me that there was a big gap in there, so I filled it in. Putting the parts of the ripper together, really straightforward. All the rest of the parts of the ripper, again really straightforward, it just glues together as you would expect. Then you get to a really tricky bit. This here, I put up quite a few photographs of this on, which we'll come on just after I've done this section. This section here, these screw heads are literally moulded into frame A, and they need to be cut off very carefully and then glued onto the top of these hydraulic grams. So I can show you that on the model. Now you're not going to see it. You're going to have to rely on the photographs. There's lots of photographs of them anyway, but they're on this ram, and on the other side as well. So they're on 4 rams. And what I essentially did, I thought if I cut these off in a normal fashion, then they're going to ping off into outer space and never be seen again. So what I did, I mean, you do it your own way, I'm sure. What I did was I stuck a piece of masking tape, quite wide masking tape, down to the mat, the cutting mat. I then cut this piece out of frame A and stuck that to the piece of masking tape. Then, with a sharp chisel blade, I'm guessing it would work with this kind of blade as well, but it was certainly easier with a sharp chisel blade. I put a piece of masking tape across the top of the screw heads and then literally gently chiseled them off. When they did ping off and try to go to outer space, they hit the masking tape and stuck to it. I thought it was quite a clever idea, but anyway. And then I used, you may have seen these for an extortionate price. It's a wax scented pencil, and as I say, in a modelling shop they're an extortionate price, and then you've got to pay 3 or 4 quid to have it delivered. They're for picking up the jewels on jewellery making, and the little jewels that they use for the costume jewellery. And they work in exactly the same way as the ones you pay really quite a lot of money for at a model shop. I got 5. I've cut that one in half, so it's twice that length. I got 5 twice that length for 2 quid. Can't argue with that in my view. And of course with Amazon, I have Amazon Prime, so it's a free delivery as well. But they can then pick up the tiny little bits that you've cut off here, pick them up and place them very carefully onto the top of the rams, and that worked really quite well. I stuck them on with a watered down solution of ultra glue, and that gave me time to move them around with a knife until they were in exactly the right position, and then just put them to one side and let them set. Really quite good stuff, that, surprisingly. Expensive though. Other than that, the rest of the build on the Ripper was really very easy. All the way through to section 6, and then attach it all. And if you've spent the time and done it properly, it will all move in every way that the real thing would, which I don't know if that's useful or not. Personally, I'm going to put it on the back of a lorry so it will be raised up. Otherwise, when you drove it onto the truck, you rip the trailer in half. But yeah, that's the idea. Mine will be fixed in that position there. I've also looked at the painting. I was looking at somebody else's video, and I've stolen his idea, or I'm about to steal his idea, but I can't for the life of me remember where I saw the video, so I can't credit him with it. But what the guy did, he did it over the whole hull, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do it over the sides of the Ripper and the Ripper itself. And what he did was he painted it a steel colour all around here, let that dry and harden for a few days, and then he painted a rust coat over the top of it. And before the rust coat had dried completely, he rubbed some of the paint off, the rust coloured paint off, so it exposed the steel underneath, which really looked quite effective. It looked as though it had been in the ground and dragging along, and it had exposed the steel. And so I'm gonna give that a go, see how I get along with that. As I say, most of that really quite easy. It was only the little tiny bits on the hydraulic rams that were any difficulty. I then built the floor of the cab and started to build up the cab. Section 7 couldn't be easier. Section 8, again, it's simple stuff, and section 9 and 10, putting the seats together, so really quite easy. However, I've heard a lot about Meng models and all the good stuff, which is why I chose to try a Meng model. I must have been unlucky. I'm guessing that's what's happened. There are quite a few pictures of this, and you'll be able to see exactly what I mean. I've not glued the seats in yet because I've not painted. But this section here, all this, comes in one piece. And the piece is this one here. Comes around all in one piece. Which is, can't see the number of it now, F3. Sorry, the whole of that enclosure comes around as one piece. My enclosure, however, as you can see, there's an awful lot of filler on it, a load of filler in there, quite a bit on there, huge amount at the back there, and if you look very carefully at this, you can see that that back wall starts off about 1.5 mil thick, and by the time it gets down to here, it's about 0.25 of a mil, because I had to sand the back of it off completely so that I can get the rear wall to stand up straight. And the reason for that is it looked as though this had been, I have no idea really what they'd done with it. It looked to me as though it had been stamped on, but there are also marks all the way along it which I've filled in now, and you'll see on the photographs where it looks as though they prized it out of the mould while it was still warm. Then it's gone hard, it's hardened off, and it's quite hard plastic this, as you can hear. And because it's gone hard before they've finished doing whatever they were doing with it, it was deformed, it was completely deformed, it was bowed out at the back there completely. And it's not quite straight on the front edge here. When you put the seat in, I had to fiddle around with it and put it in a bowl of boiling water so I can soften it somewhat and bend it round, but it's not quite there. And you can see down here, you might be able to see, can you see? Yeah, you can. That little bit there is missing completely. It's been distorted terribly. I'm guessing that I've just been unlucky with that, and hopefully it won't be the same with everybody else's kit. Apart from that bit, that's the only thing that's is wrong. I've not glued the seats in yet. I'm going to mask this out and paint all the inside before I glue it all in. The paint scheme, quite a clever idea with the paint scheme. It tells you as you're going along the colours that you need to paint, and the colours are on there. It tells you which ones to paint which bits. Most of the interior is white, however this section and the floor is what they call cyanide grey. I haven't got any cyanide grey, and I'm not buying a bottle of paint just for that bit that I'll never use again. So I'm going to mix that, and it'll be as close as it gets. It'll either work or it won't, but nobody's going to really see it. And then I'm going to detail that, paint it, detail it, glue the seats in, get all the seats painted up, glue it all in. Then I'll move on to building the cab around it. other than that, that's as far as I've gone really. And so we're up to section number 10. Next video, we'll go through where I get to putting the cap together. So it's quite interesting, quite a lot of stuff there. So that goes up to number 13. And yeah, I think we'll go a bit further than that. We've got 13, 14, 15 and 16. As always, if you have any questions or comments, good or bad, please leave them in the comments area below. And it would be fantastic if you would like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much for watching. Ta-da!